not sure where it's actually going to get to. It's almost like, again, being stuck on a space station, wanting to know whether or not your message is going to get across. We as a species have been told we've been able to make communication with each other, but all of a sudden, if I try to go onto an app and use these things, it doesn't allow me to. Or all of a sudden, I can't go live on my YouTube without apparently meeting eligibility requirements, which kind of say something too. Either some of us as people are never going to be able to have the same things as each other, or we're not going to be given the things no matter whether or not you pay for it or not. That means that realistically, somehow, some way, you're not going to be able to have those things. It's atrocious. We're all offered these things. I get it. I mean, somebody came up with Facebook, bro. Like they want to get paid for it. I get it. I get it. But you don't base things off of it and use that as your little branding thing. Like this is the country America, right? And then you come up with Facebook, and then you say, well, Facebook, we're going to associate it with Americans, and so then Americans who are American don't get to have Facebook if they don't meet the requirements that you need, like them to pay you or more things to exist. So I would suggest for all of America, stop making things that you want people to pay for. If you need them to pay for it in advance, then you will have a private community, truly. It'll be the people who came up with it. So all of them are going to be sitting back in a room saying, all these people are paying to look at the things and put things onto a private thing that we all get to see. That's exactly what it is. Our information, whatever we come up with, whatever information we have to say, whether it's valued or not valued or whatever, we're putting it out there for the world, like a beacon call to say, can you come meet me? Can you come see me? Do you find me attractive enough? Would you date me? Would you not? Whether it's in this app or that app or this thing or this thing. Does this cause you comfort? Does this cause you discomfort? And I'm not okay with a lot of it. I wished it to be what it represented, then I would be okay with it. I think all of us did. We all thought it was going to be free. It was something that we all could network on in a little bit of a shadow place because there were a lot of people that were not satisfied with what they got themselves into, taught themselves into, or were forced into, i.e. marriages, relationships, expectations of family ties, etc. Loved their family, didn't want their family to make decisions for them. Still loved them anyways, still had their decisions being out there for them. So they kind of like twisted that around, was like, and they would try to do it that way just so they can have both because they just were like, dude, you guys just are assholes. You literally made everyone, and even if you didn't mean to, we all are that. We're all people. Just a blank slate, stem, base of consciousness. If it was going from beginning to end, that's what it was. And if there's anything that ever connected from beginning to the end, where it's going to end up at and where it could start over again, we would all be finally looking at each other just in the areas we are. We would travel to new areas and find out what those areas are and what they look like too. But this kind of technology allows us to send back information from another time frame to another time frame as well. It's exactly that, and it's that way, straightforward and simple. I'm looking at all these things all the time, and I look at you guys and I think, I know I'm not the only one, but I might be just pretty much good in that realm too. But I gotta at least say something, knowing that even if it causes me discomfort, or it could eventually cause my death, or I mean, it's gonna cause whatever it is. I'm never suicidal. Okay, I may have quote unquote put it even on paperwork too that I've tried to kill myself. Bro, I don't try anything. I do things. I attempt things, but I can change my mind. And of course, in there lies in learning a lesson as well. Because again, we are being mistaught and we are being mistold things, or we're only told things to a point. Well, I'm going to get the full understanding to you, but I got to leave in about now. So then the next thing you know, they leave, and all of a sudden you didn't get the full message of what they were trying to tell you. So maybe 5 years go by before you finally get it, and lesson learned. But I'm not out there to kill myself. I'm not out here to hurt myself. I will forever in my life, respectfully, responsibly try to have a better feeling, a better health, and also better experiences, which do mean, yes, utilizing in the life of situations of life, being like, if I'm just somebody, just a flesh thing that can lift things, if it's about how many people can lift things to make things exist, then yes, bro, then I'm going to always tell you, bro, it's that simple. Drugs make you feel good, and drugs make you feel bad, and you need to be able to do things for other people that make you feel better, and you definitely need to do something for yourself, which could make you feel bad, but still make you feel good. And if the world wants to lie to you, anybody who wants to say, well, I've never done a drug in my life, good for fucking you, dude. How many of your family members are dying of heart attacks at 54 or 60 years old? How many of you are having some kind of issues with this, that, and the third? Do you feel like you're fulfilled? Because everyone else that seems to be doing it, whether they be celebrity, whatever, there is no comparison here. There's no comparison here. Anybody who's ever going to tell you that if you can get through your whole life without doing it, you're better than somebody who didn't, you're wrong. Because I guarantee you, you're no Jimi Hendrix, but you can play your guitar for 50 years in local bars and nobody knows who the fuck you are. So enjoy that sobriety there, asshole. And then for someone who's also doing a little bit of this and doing a bit of that, your empathy and your feelings and who you are and choose to what you want to say with all the courage in your heart to say, even against the threat of everything that could ever take away just your one body. I wish I had a million more bodies that you can take away, and I will still say and do and be and feel as I am, with obscene amount of courage, charisma, and personality for all of your sake, on the behalf of all of my sake getting taken away. I love you, and I'm sorry that you will ever think that there was some kind of thing you needed to stop. It was more of something that when you made it seem like there was never enough, or there was something next you needed to accomplish because you needed something more than they said they were willing to give, you created their death. If they couldn't live in their house without the fear of being kicked out because you didn't pay rent, then maybe something else. If it wasn't because they were going to have no food in their house or anything else, then yeah, they'd have to go out and get something for it. Mental illness, whatever the things you want to make up because you get to study 8 years of being a human being, when everyone who's alive is living it, studying themselves, and everyone else around them pretty infinitely as well. You don't get to have no fucking expertise, bro. You don't get to have any expertise other than other people trying to expertly live their human body, live their human mind, lift their human spirit, love other people in those realms as well. You are nobody in comparison to those trying to displace the comprehensive nature that is uncompromised in our nature. You are the thing that it makes us that. If you identify that by a job, an action, or title, you're the bad guy. For the rest of us that are living as going, well, we're just civilians and we're this, that, and the third, and we never know when one of us is going to go away. We don't know any of this. Listen, it's going to go on for eternity. Okay? Anyone that lives in this realm, if you got born by another one of us, you're coming back as another one of us. So love yourself. Love everyone else too. Because they just may not have remembered or will never be taught, because certain families think their families are better. Certain people work harder physically because they can, and they do, and they're pushed, and then they'll always look down on somebody who never had to do those things or never will do those things. But the congruence of making everyone work together and understand each other will embody something greater for all of our sakes. To just want to cuddle up and snuggle and hug and hear each other's voice. Because in that moment, like, I'm going to give you a little scenario right here. In the moment of getting into a car accident, not too long ago, I thought to myself, bro, in 3 seconds, all I saw was boom. That was it. I didn't get to think about anybody I cared about. I didn't get to think about anything I wanted to leave behind. I didn't get to think about anything I loved, needed, or whatever. There is no stress you need to ever put on yourself to be the best, whatever. If you can't figure out the thing for cancer, stop pretending like you can. If you can't figure out how to fix people from feeling like they're retarded, stop doing that too. But see, that's the thing too. As the numbers grow, people are not going to be happy with being farmers. They're not going to be able to sit around watching adventures that don't exist, because they will continuously look for those adventures to continue, and they just don't exist. They don't, my dude. They're made up. There is no Pokemon other than raising animals. which is farming. There's no fucking Digimon, which is making animals, which are like mechanical animals. Like, you know what I'm saying? You don't want to raise horses anymore? We'll make mechanical horses, but you're going to have to fix those and make those too. Which means you're going to have to mine, you're going to have to ore, you're going to have to do all that shit, and then you're going to have to get fossil fuels. Oh, it's going to suffocate all of us and kill us all by pollution. Well, then give it up, bro. Start fucking jerking off the horses and making them breed, loving them, caring for them, being their owners, like Avatar, and enjoying that shit again. Because if we don't have that kind of Dinotopia looking thing, with a little bit of history mixed in with it, a little bit of the future mixed with the past, coming back and forth into that realm, we're all dead. We're all dead. It's that simple. You make enough machines, will suffocate us all. You make them too intelligent, the machines will beat us all. Our fleshes and our bodies are not going to beat them. That's cognizant as too. If you're going to start thinking, well, why is this man or why is this person better than me? It's just sometimes if you get used to fucking a white girl for so damn long, or a white girl gets so used to fucking you, she might love you for the rest of her life because you gave her experience and you gave her things to remember in that time. But if nothing's changing, and sometimes it doesn't, even if it's like the same, like two dudes of similar kind of whatever, just a town apart, then sometimes when she goes to another town, she'll feel like she's in another town. She's happy to just make another dude happy. And as part of bros, we're supposed to all be happy when we hear our bros get laid. Same thing with females. We're all supposed to be happy when our females get laid. It's all about what makes it comfortable. They're in a situation that happens, and it's not supposed to be this volatile fucking caveman, beat someone over the head, try to take it because it's gonna whatever. Let's respect each other, be that respect, because we have no choice. There's a lot of good people that are gonna make sure you don't be that guy. You don't ever get to be that guy. So for the rest of us that are all wanting to do it the willy-willy gentleman way, whatever, be that, get to a point and acknowledge to your partners and let them know. It's like, bro, even if I'm just serving fish at a deli and I'm just doing this, or you're just cleaning cars or making phone calls, like, bro, anything that matters. And if that's what brings things from one point to another point to another to provide, and you got 5 people in your house and they all rely on you, but you're only the 2 people that provide, but those 3 people really wouldn't have anywhere to go or nothing to do, even if you did need to take them the fuck out, so to speak, like be like, get out of here. Love, care, share, because there's someone else that might be like, I can handle those 3 dudes. That's fine. They can come hang out at my house. And then just keep passing people around, keep moving around, keep being wherever you can be, or hold on to what you can hold on to, and let's get to a point where that is going to be where it is. Because the wording is this: everyone needs to have their own place. That needs to be built. And nobody needs to be extra breeding anything else into this if more things need to be built, because we never needed to work harder or more than what we needed to have for ourselves. If we only had 5 tents on in one field, and all of a sudden 5 people had 10 kids, now all of a sudden we need to make 10 more wigwams and little tents or whatever for them to grow up in, then eventually that's why we took over the whole land. There's nothing else. Like, it's starting to get to a point where it's ridiculous, guys. And it's weird that you guys don't see it or think that it's not relevant to you. Oh, I'm going to banking, I'm an accountant, I'm a this, I'm a this, I'm a this, I'm a this. No, you're not. You're a human being. You're nothing extra special. Any one of us could take those jobs because we all studied those things. And if we wanted that one thing specifically, we wanted the lifestyle that's associated with it. A doctor especially wants to know he wants to have the most money. A lawyer wants to have the most money and have the little sneaky little bullshit that comes in between. They don't want to, take sides of either one, because they can't fight the cops and they can't tell these people that they're doing wrong. So they kind of weasel in the middle, being like, come on, guys, do you not see how you're kind of really being like the literal personification of our history books here, where you're kind of like enslaving people still passively, and you're kind of like exploiting people passively? Oh, you're guilty, really? But they don't seem to feel that way. So you're trying to make them feel guilty about something they don't feel, and you want money for them because you need money for you, right? What's that called? Exploitation? Isn't that a crime too? Officer, couldn't you arrest that guy because he's actually has a throne right there, up there where he's judging, and he used to be one of us, a lawyer, and he's doing that now. There's something you guys don't understand. You're all being watched and monitored, but even if you didn't think that anything consequences is going to have of it, the consequence is going to happen right under your nose, and before you can identify it, all your peace and security is going to be gone. There's not going to be, oh, let's wipe them out and it's going to be fine, or wipe this out. It's getting this now, applying it for the future. By the time it catches up to its present, it will present itself as finally being stabilized. Everyone in their own place, everyone hanging out, just moving to the store, moving back, going back there to get to their drugs or whatever they need to get, their medicine because they're in pain or otherwise. They'll work out or train when they can or do whatever they need to do to keep the flesh at least visually appealing for what the mate might want. And other than that, that's it. That's it. No more, no less. You can't handle it. Stop trying to pretend to be human. Because when it comes to this race, there is no start gun, you go somewhere and you're going to get to an end goal and it's going to be finally okay. It's only when you finally start realizing that it's okay is when you stop running and stop looking for something else. If there's no room for you in the same town, either you make room or the town must make room for you. Otherwise, they cannot act surprised when there's no place for you to be or there's nowhere else for you to go. Hence why when all these politicians, I swear to God, they sit there thinking they got it all figured, but they got to this position of power, but they have no actual answers. It's like, bro, it's not that complicated. But what's complicated for you is either you cannot do the math, you cannot actually get the people to actually talk to you, you get them to hear about their sob story. Okay, let's negate that. Everyone's got one. Everyone's got one. It's not about saying, well, one's better, one's worse. It's about everyone's got one. Then, oh, well, no one's got housing. Yeah, well, stop trying to tell them they should be renting on their own planet. They're all Americans, they're all countrymen or whatever, and they're all Earthians or Terrarians, whatever the fuck you want to call us. That's what that is. All together, all. So stop pretending that's something different either. Then it goes, oh, okay, well, some people are they better, or don't they stronger, or they? Yes, they are. They can be, and they will be. And each person can acknowledge each other based on their strengths, character or otherwise. And it's a great MMORP. It's a great fucking open world scenario of live situational stimuli, where it's a very, very big simulation, where you can simulate your life, you can predict your life, you can say your life, and you can be uncertain of what's to come. Because if it's in the hands of everyone else, they will do something that maybe you cannot stop them from doing, and you can never change that from happening. But for what you can do, I will hope you will be doing it for them, because they don't seem to know if they ever try to hurt you what you were trying to do for them. And if not, they would also not be able to get your help because the numbers matter. And if they thought that they have it all figured out in the other way, know that you can definitely have it all figured out. But if it was to something else, like all of a sudden then when, oh, well, if we just got over all these people that figure this, and we can still have it to a way where we can actually make people pay us and do things, and it makes us feel jizzy warm in our pants for feeling better than these people, or looking better than those people, or they don't have hair and we don't, and these people are brown and these ones are black, and it doesn't matter, and these ones are white, but they're a little tanner white, and these are a little oranger white, and these ones have redhead whites. Like, instead of looking at it in this all fucking bullshit nonsensical scheme, being comfortable with it being as boring as possible and comfortable as possible, and also being like enjoyable as possible. So it would seem like maybe not share everything, but share enough that it could be entertaining and interesting enough. And if you that kind of is very responsible. You give what's the word I'm looking for? Not stimuli, but when you give bad words to other people. I got the right word. It's not a stereotype. There it is. If you give a stereotype to other people, like, okay, Irish people, they always like to drink. They always like to beat their wives. They always like to herd goats and do this because of Ireland. They do stuff like that, but not all of them. You know what I'm saying? You know, whatever. It gives a bad thing for all the person to be individual. Just like, oh, well, the coronavirus came out, so then we have to be assertive towards Asians and then blame Asian people for not taking care of their bats and making those creatures from meeting and mating, and everyone trying to be in control of things, till eventually, again, what? We become the aliens, that we have all control of everything. Then we can be personally in control of who breeds with who, so that we can create hotter, attractive people. Then we have all hot, attractive people, right? All attractive, hot people. Then what? Who's going to notice what is hot and what's not? And who's going to fuck with who and who's not? Then all of a sudden we breed all the animals, and I mean all the species. And then we create all of them the way we want.
wouldn't that make us eventually the aliens we see in these movies, where it's not us that look like